The reputation of Helldivers 2 has dove into hell, garnering so much negativity due to this new PSN policy change. Essentially, they made it mandatory that you had to link a PSN account in order to play their game, and a lot of people can't because PSN isn't available in their countries. This is on top of the fact that PSN is kind of shady when it comes to data collecting. The PlayStation Network and Sony in general are just not really known for their security. They get hacked a lot. So naturally, you giving up all your data to them doesn't really sound like a promising idea. If you bought the game on Steam and you live in one of these countries where PSN is not available, well, you literally cannot play the game. You are effectively locked out. There are some conspiracy theories going on that this was all part of a plan. Release Helldivers 2 without making the PSN linking mandatory and then making it mandatory after the fact. Probably because it looks really good on their quarterly sales report. They're like, ooh, look at this. Our PSN account numbers have jumped. Yes, give me more money, please. I don't know if that's true or not, but I can see why people came to that conclusion. The greed of Sony is really something to be marveled at. Even if Sony decided to reverse this change, I don't know if it's actually going to do anything anymore. The damage has been done. In 24 hours, the amount of backlash the game has gotten is unprecedented. I've seen games get hate before, most of the time quite deservedly so. I have never seen a game that was heralded as a sweetheart and beloved by the gaming community go to being despised in such a short time span.
My disappointment is immeasurable. My day. No! God, please, no! 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 No!
People are just angry. They're pissed off. One thing that acts as like the salt in the wound to all this is that prior to this, the game developers seemed very down to earth. They were very open with the community, always interacting and just generally being cool game developers. Prior to this, if people wanted to give an example of a good game developer, they would point to Arrowhead Studios. I guess those other reviewers kind of regret using them as the standard, huh?
This is why Helldivers 2's live service is retaining so many players, because there haven't been any roadmaps going into excruciating detail about what to expect.
I don't know these developers, but I know that they were poking fun at a lot of the other practices more greedy companies were doing. But now, because of this, it just comes across as like, dude, get off your high horse, man. And I know most of the blame actually goes to Sony. I don't doubt that for a second. Fuck Sony. But still, come on. Helldivers 2 isn't the only instance of a game tanking its reputation this week alone. Escape from Tarkov did something similar. The game mostly known for popularizing the extraction shooter subgenre, they introduced a new system that allowed people to basically just pay to win. And they had it that if you paid a certain amount, you could get all future DLCs for free. Think of it like a season pass. But this new thing they're implementing is not included in the season pass. And the things on offer are blatantly way better than anything else that has ever been offered. I'm not that well informed on Tarkov, but from what I have heard, it's pretty damn bad. Their subreddit is filled with so much vitriol, it's insane. Hell, this might not even be as big compared to the other two, but I've been fairly involved in the Tekken community in the last couple months. And every time that they decide to do something, especially in regards to their microtransactions, the community has just been getting more and more and more pissed off. Game developers, game studios, game companies in general, what are you doing? Remember, this video isn't just me talking about games that were bad. No. This video is talking about games that were great, that didn't just have potential, but seized that potential, that were more or less seen in a very positive light by the community. And then, because of one tiny thing, it's just poof, gone. Vitriol instead. Apologies if this video isn't quite as put together compared to my other videos. I'm just so sick and tired of all these companies that were great, that had something amazing, and just running it into the dirt. All that goodwill that they built. This isn't a case of like a game company that was hated. No, these are examples of companies that were beloved and just running their product, their reputation, their own company good name, and just ruining it. If you go back a little bit more, this has been happening for years now. Other primary examples being Blizzard, but that's a whole nother can of worms that I'm not gonna get into. But essentially, yeah, Blizzard with, I guess, the biggest example right now being Overwatch 2. The amount of backtracked promises and pinky promised, oh, I swear that we're gonna do this, and then not doing it. To an extent as well, CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk. Do you remember this post? That did not age well. And granted, CD Projekt Red did alleviate some of its problems, but nevertheless, this still stings. There will always be a permanent tarnish on their reputation. And another example, Dragon's Dogma 2. That game was extremely divisive when it came out. The reason for this division being that despite the fact that it's a single-player game, it had an extraordinary amount of microtransactions that you could buy. Stuff that would be considered pay to win if this was a multiplayer game. There were some people that I knew defending this game, saying things like, you don't have to buy it. Everything being sold, you can still get in the game. You know, it's all optional. Well, I'll tell you what, the game developers didn't have to put things behind microtransactions. The game developers didn't have to lock content behind a paywall. They didn't have to be greedy fucking assholes. I understand that some of these game companies, that their hands are tied. They can't really do anything because the higher-ups, the suits, are demanding them to do these changes, especially with the Helldivers developers. But my god, it is not a good look for the industry as a whole. You can go from being beloved on launch, praised, people calling you a Game of the Year contender, and then in a few months down the line, all that goodwill has been dashed away just because of one change. It doesn't matter if they chose this change, or if their higher-ups did, because ultimately all people are gonna see are these gaming headlines about this company doing so-and-so and why they fucked up, and honestly, that's all that matters. It's the perception around these companies. What's to say when the Elden Ring DLC comes out, and then something, I don't know, diabolical happens, and then From Software's reputation goes into the dirt. I don't think that's gonna happen, but you know, at this point I wouldn't be surprised. The game industry just keeps fucking up. This is outside of the regular shenanigans that goes on. You still have your run-of-the-mill live service bullshit going on. Underdeveloped and underbaked products being released as AAA installments. Egregious pre-ordering bonuses. Ubisoft. A lot of games nowadays are they're just so bad, man. Not the games themselves. Well, a lot of them are also pretty bad. But it's the companies, it's the culture around them. This oppressive feeling of extreme mediocrity. And barring that, there's this trend of just people ruining a good thing. I really don't understand why this is happening. From what I'm seeing, the guys over at Helldivers are trying their best to mitigate this as much as possible. They're interacting with the community and trying to offer them advice on what to do. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. The damage has been done. I saw this post saying that Helldivers 2 is now currently the most downvoted paid game on Steam ever. That is terrible. That is a very unfortunate outcome. We are truly living in the bad gaming timeline universe. So I guess this is just me wishful thinking that any future developers will get their shit together. I'm tired of seeing games just doing this, you know? Thanks if you listened all this way, Internet Wanderer, and again, I apologize for the rant. See you later.